That went on for a couple times. In a now deleted Instagram post, gymnast Simone Biles is still trying to explain to us why she quit the Olympics and stealing the spotlight from the actual American medalists. There are so many athletes that should be celebrated. For instance, take a look at Sunny Lee, an 18-year-old who took home the women's all-around gold in gymnastics. Right now, the U.S. women's teams have won gold in basketball, fencing, gymnastics, swimming, and more. Joining us now to help celebrate the athletes who actually competed, none other than Matt Walsh. Good to have you on, Matt. Good to see you again, my friend. So
thanks for having me.
You got a little beat up on Twitter and others for, I guess, calling Simone Biles a quitter. What went down? Tell us about it.
Well, it's just, the people on Twitter famously are not very quick on understanding just really basic fundamental points. And I think that all along with the Simone Biles thing, listen, if she had quit and then afterwards apologized and said, hey, I screwed up out there. I quit. I shouldn't have. And then if everyone had reacted with appropriate levels of disappointment, then I probably wouldn't have talked about this at all because I really don't care that much. It's when the media comes back around and tells us, oh, no, you have to be inspired by this. This is courageous. This isn't quitting. This is radical courage, in the words of the New York Times and the New Yorker. That's the part that I object to, because people quit things all the time. It's a very human thing. I can even sympathize with that. I mean, the weight of the world's on her shoulders, a lot of pressure on a global stage. I've never faced something like that. Maybe I would quit too. But if you're telling me that I have to admire it and that is courageous, that's the part I don't like. But we get this from the media all the time. It's never enough, right, to just tell us, well, tolerate someone's decision, sympathize with their decision. No, that's not enough. You have to actually stand up and applaud it. And if you do anything less than that, then you're a sexist. You're all these things.
Yeah, you're all these things.
That's been my point.
And maybe towards the end of that last tweet, you said, what would happen if she were a man? Maybe that got you into a little bit of hot water. But where are we now in a world, in sports, but also in the world where, what happened to fighting through injury? What happened working through stuff you didn't really want to do? A good friend of mine, Brett Favre, went 16 seasons without missing a start. Now think about that. These guys are falling apart. They're walking off the field if they get hit a couple of times now.
Yeah, that's the thing that we have in the past admired about sports and about athletes, and that's why it's so troubling to see this change. And it didn't just start with Simone Biles. This is kind of a trend now where athletes, and typically so far it's been the female athletes that we're supposed to admire when they quit. I think it won't stay that way. I mean, eventually we'll have to admire the male athletes who quit too. But this is a trend where normally the thing we like about athletes is that they're not only so skilled and so talented, but that they do fight through adversity, and they're doing things that normal people can't do, and they're living up to the pressure, or at least trying to. Because the other thing is, of course, in any competition, someone has to lose. We don't hate people for losing, but it's just trying. That's the part that we admire.
But
and then
now,
in the Olympics too. So
now
in the
it's
Olympics
like,
too, we also.
I'm sorry. Winning is utmost. That's the best. Quitting is second best and losing is third. I was like, wait a minute, how is quitting, being disqualified and quitting should be at the bottom? Losing respectfully, trying your hardest and losing should be next to just right under winning.
Well, it's even worse than that, because actually what the media has been telling us this week is that that sometimes quitting is better than winning. She's the real champion because she quit. Yeah. That's been the message, which is so completely flipped on its head. It makes no sense. And then you add on top of that a lot of these, some of these Olympic athletes, in the female soccer, for example, there's also not the patriotism and the gratitude for this country.
Michelle
which is
Rapinoe.
The other reason that we love watching.
Michelle Rapinoe saying that she wants to kneel. The hammer thrower in the games leading up to the Olympics, turning away from the flag. Naomi Osaka of Japan saying that she walked away from a whole tournament because she didn't want to talk to the media or the stress was getting to her. I don't know. We're raising a generation of snowflakes, Matt. Final thought.
Yeah, and it's again this thing that I've always grown up, why I've loved watching sports, and that's I think is being taken away from us, and it's pretty sad to see.
Matt Walsh, everyone, thank you for joining us.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.